Hello. Welcome to episode 17 of the Bottoms Up podcast. I am your host, Taylor, and I am here today with this fine piece of dark chocolates.
Ooh, don't hype me up.
This pristine African man.
Yes, African. You know what I'm saying? African.
I'm here with Dr. Michael Agyei, also known as Mike the Miami Chiro.
Yep, Mike the Miami Chiro.
He is a chiropractor, a mobile chiropractor here in South Florida, serving both Dade and Broward County. You on the road.
I'm on the road, baby. Yes.
So I guess I don't know if I've mentioned it previously, but my mom was a doctor, and my brother is actually in medical school as well. So I do have like a very personal connection with the medical field. I'm very interested in science and research. It's like 100% like one of my like special interests. So I was super excited to bring you on. This episode is actually going to be one of a quick little series I'm going to do on kind of like fitness and health and wellness. So I have you are my first episode, and then I have a personal trainer, actually two personal trainers coming up after you, just to, support the queer people within the fitness and health industries, because we should be taking care of ourselves.
Absolutely. Definitely should be.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you mentioned that you're originally from Colorado.
Yes. So I was born and raised in Colorado. I'm Ghanaian by nationality. My parents are from Ghana. Me and my brothers were raised in Colorado. After I did undergrad in Colorado, I moved to Iowa for grad school, for chiropractic schooling. That was another 3 years. And then I moved to South Florida in October of 2022. So I've been here since October 22, which is like a year and a few months.
Yes, that's very fresh.
Yeah, I'm fresh. I'm really fresh. So yeah.
How do you like it?
Honestly, it's good. It's funny, like growing up, I always manifested living somewhere tropical. Like I was always like, I'm going to live on an island, like, coconuts. So I guess like South Florida honestly does it. You know what I mean? Like it hits the check marks for sure. It's a little wild at times. Like, as we know, child.
At times.
But, honestly, I learned a lot about myself living here. So, I like it, for sure.
Oh, beautiful. I love it.
Yes, thank you.
Before we get too into it, announcements. If you have not seen yet, I have updated. I have the February events up. And there's a lot of stuff happening between, like, now and summer. So I'm going to be filling out the calendar, and a lot of these events, like, you might want to know ahead of time. They're like very big ones. So just make sure you're paying attention to the calendar. It is linked in my bio. Oh man, this is not going to go up until after speed dating, but hopefully you guys are signing up for speed dating. I'm hosting my first event with We Are Les Moon. So that'll be super exciting. I'll probably take a little recap of that. That might be a little like bonus episode down the line. I got a lot of bonus episodes planned out. So y'all.
She working.
This plus the corporate 9 to 5, 9 to 6 actually. We don't get paid lunch. That's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, child.
We went to Les Chic last night, and it was a lot of fun. Thank you, Mava, for sharing your section, for sharing your Don Julio. I am very grateful, and thank you to New York Grilled Cheese for sustaining me after every night out.
That is the best grilled cheese. If you're ever in Wilton Manors, that grilled cheese and the soup, the best. Yes, absolutely.
Do you get the tomato bisque, or do you get the mushroom one?
I've tried both. I usually get the tomato one, but I heard the mushroom one. I think I've had a little bit of it, but
I like it. Like, there's this one time I went there, and I like specifically requested like the mushroom bisque, and the guy like looked at me, and he was like, "Are you sure?"
What? I guess because nobody.
He didn't like it, so he was like, "Oh, have you had it before?" And I'm like, "Yes, like I know what I'm about. I know what I want. So, give me that fucking mushroom bisque."
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know what you want. I don't know. That place is very good though, so shout out to them. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, let's do horoscopes.
All right, horoscopes.
I'll go first, just to get it out of the way, just to knock it out.
Cool. Let me see.
I think like the last episode I didn't even get through reading the horoscope because it was just so mean within like the first 3 lines.
Damn.
And I was just like, no, we're not doing this. Okay, my horoscope for, what's today? Saturday, February 10th. You are capable of incredible and improbable feats. All right, we're starting off strong. Ask to collaborate. You're able to see the value in other people's ideas and how they match up with yours. True knowledge is a collaboration, not an isolated incident. You'll see what you need. Do sleeping bags, campfire, healthy glow. Don't smugness, ego trips, sugar rush. Okay.
Wow.
No, I can get behind that. I can get behind that.
So mine, there is something beautiful about getting older. Crazy, it's almost my birthday, so interesting. So
There you go.
Okay, okay. Are you looking for realistic dreams? Ooh, today you feel torn between your need for control, and your urge to surrender. It's good to go with the safe option if that's what you need. Just make sure you're not doing that thing where you deny the existence of anything beyond the material, and then convince yourself that you must always be in control. Most of life is out of your control, but you can choose joy.
Wow.
Deep.
That's beautiful.
That is deep, yeah.
Do's and don'ts.
Oh, my do. Inspiration, reading signs, slowing down. Needed that for sure. Don't. Assuming the worst. What ifs. Need that. The what ifs kill me. And abandon ship. That.
I love it.
Cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I needed that. Okay. That was my first day downloading CoStar. Like, I always hear about horoscopes and everything, but I haven't, looked at it. But, yeah, cool.
Again, I don't, it's just for fun.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. For sure.
Okay, beautiful. I love that. I like that our horoscopes were nice today.
Yes, I know. We love a good horoscope.
So, it's to kind of, circle back. So, your parents are from Ghana.
Yes.
I don't know if I've mentioned before. So my dad is from Nigeria and my mom is from Jamaica.
Okay, I was gonna ask you because of your last name.
Yeah. It kind of gives a little bit. They gave me a very American first name, but yeah, the last name makes it clear.
Yes.
So, I guess what was your initial coming out experience then? Because people have certain ideas about African.
Yeah. Mine was. Family wise or just life wise? Because there were two different events.
Okay. I guess how did you come out to yourself first?
Ooh, honestly, I guess accepting it was Reddit. Reddit kind of came through. So my sexuality is more open. I identify more as I just say queer now, but pansexual, bisexual, I kind of say I'm more of in that spectrum. So I feel it was hard for me to kind of understand my feelings. Until my senior year of college, where I discovered a Reddit thread literally called bisexual or something, and I was reading it and I was oh, I guess this kind of matches me, honestly, because I've had feelings towards women, I've had feelings towards men that I was super suppressing, so that's I guess how I came out to myself when I realized it, and I was oh, this is what this means, okay, and then So after I kind of realized that, I remember I came out to my best friend and her sister and my other really good friend too, through text. I was and that was it. That started that journey. That was back in senior year of undergrad, so I was 2019. Wow. So I guess people say it late bloomer. I was late to come out because I was 20. I don't think you're ever late.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, yeah, that's how that whole started. And then living in Iowa for grad school for 3 years, for some reason, that's when I got the most comfortable with myself. So I think just maybe getting away from my hometown and away from, maybe expectations people had of me just allowed me to really grow into who I am. So.
I mean, even I came out initially, senior year of high school. I think I knew in the beginning of high school that, there was...
Something's different.
Yeah.
It's
the way you feel about your best friend is a little bit
odd. I trust me, I've definitely had those other friendships where I was was that actually? Yeah.
And I think it just kind of clicked with me. I definitely suppressed it. And I don't think, again, parents who are coming from a different country, I didn't even, I never got the feeling from them that they were homophobic, like, ever. It just wasn't, like, I have a gay cousin who lives out in California, and, like, oh my God, my mom loves him, and he's, like, a carbon copy of my dad. It's, like, so weird. So, like, I knew that, like, my family wouldn't necessarily, like, have an issue with it, but it was still just, like, I was getting a lot of messages from society that, like, hey, like, first of all, lesbian's, like, a really dirty word, or that, like, you're weird if you are, like, somebody and you're attracted to somebody of the same gender. So, like, working through that was, like, a huge hurdle for me. That was, like, a 3-year journey. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, it takes time. I mean, even, so it was, like, 2019 where I came out to, like, a couple of my friends and going through school. Then I guess with my family, it was, like, I think it was 2021, and that was, like, with my parents, it was pretty rough. Getting better, I guess. It's kind of like very, like, I feel like in a lot of foreign households, like, a lot of people might relate to this. It's very, like, don't ask, don't tell. Once they know, it's just kind of like, let's just not talk about it, but let's talk about everything else, which is fine for a little bit, but it's like there's always, like, an elephant in the room. And I feel like when I go to, like, those spaces, sometimes I just have to, like, suppress myself a little bit, even though it's like I'm not really doing anything wrong. I'm just like, okay, let me just, like, stay quiet to avoid attention to myself. But, you know, yeah, I guess that's kind of, like, how it is right now, like, family-wise, parents, specifically more of. But I guess it's just, like, one of those things, like, after a while you do have to choose to live your life, and, like, it just takes time to get there. It takes a lot of time to get there, because it's, like, I feel like when family, like, disapproves of something, like, it hits different, like, you know what I mean?
It does.
It hits so deep.
And especially, like, because it's those people you've been with your entire life, who you've seen a certain way your entire life, and who have seen you a certain way your entire life. And I feel like, because I think it goes even, like, beyond sexuality. Like, our parents have expectations about, like, what they want their kids' life to be like and who they want their kids to grow up into. And I feel like some parents just really struggle with when their child begins to deviate from that. Which is, like, every child's going to deviate from it.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like we're brought into this world, like, our spirit, I've been really focusing on, like, getting back to, like, my inner child and my inner spirit. Like, who you were, like, when you were, like, born and, like, fresh, like, that spirit wants to, like, do certain things. And, like, like, parents' expectations on it, like, they'll try to, like, keep you one way, but it's like, it's up to you to decide, like, okay, you know what, I'm actually going to follow who I am, or the other way, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I mean, because I dealt with that. Like, I come from, like, a very, like, high achieving family anyways, and like, I still do consider myself to be a high achiever, but I don't think I'm necessarily high achieving in the way my parents expected. Like, I like to joke that, like, my dad works for NASA, my mom is a doctor, my brother is in medical school, my sister is, like, a tech whiz, and I'm a podcaster.
There always has to be one, child. Yeah, I get that. And I think coming from, obviously, you said your dad's Nigerian, your mom is Jamaican. Like, and those expectations, like, from those cultures, like, are so, like, oh, to do anything, you gotta be, like, whatever they see as the top things, which is, like, we all can contribute to society equally. It's
like the doctor or an engineer.
Yeah, that's it.
Those are your options. Like, we don't even allow lawyer. Like, no. It's kind of like,
yeah, doctor, engineer, and it's like, so, it's tough. And I think, like, growing up in a foreign household, or, like, having those expectations, like, because even for me, like, obviously, like, yes, I'm a chiropractor, I'm a doctor of something, doctor of chiropractic. But it's like, I also want to delve into certain other aspects, like entertainment. Like, we've talked about that before, like, you know, music. Maybe you might see me DJing one day a little bit. Like, things like that. But it's like, I also am like, there's a shame part of that a little bit, just because it's like, I know my parents would not want that. You know what I mean?
But it's like, you just have to, do you want it?
See? That's what I'm saying.
Because they're not the ones who are living your life.
And, yeah, that's the thing. And at the end of the day, they're going to be happy regardless, as long as they will be.
Yes.
It's just one of those things, like, you just have to, like, believe in. It's like, you know what, I'm just going to live my life, and they'll come around.
I think, like, sometimes it just takes a minute for it to click with them that, like, sure, your child isn't, like, fitting that exact image that you had, but, like, they're happy, they're not reliant on you, like, they're living a fulfilling life. They still talk to you.
They still talk to you.
So it's like, what more could you ask for at that point, you know?
Right. So So, yeah, that's a good discussion topic. It's deep for sure.
Again, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I don't get like a lot of other like, I don't want to say non-American because like you are American, but like first gen. It's like it's a very specific experience, and I feel like
first gen is
I feel like regardless of where your family comes from, like having immigrant parents is just like a very niche experience that like it transcends cultures.
It does. Like it's like a lot of the experiences between first gens are so common. Like, oh yeah, like my parents wanted me to do this, or like, oh, they don't approve of this, or like this and that. So it's actually a really good conversation topic to discuss. Like being first gen is like a whole thing. Being first gen and queer is like now it's like a whole nother layer. It's like
Even like my dad would be like, oh, like when I was a kid, like I didn't have any cavities growing up, and meanwhile,
right.
I had to get like one filled every year.
That's exactly. So
he's like my teeth. He's like, I don't know what's wrong with you guys, and I'm like,
listen,
you raised me,
right? Like you were right there. I don't know, like
maybe you didn't put enough fluoride in the water. Like I don't know,
something was not right. Yeah.
So. Man, so did you do your undergrad in Colorado?
I did.
Okay.
UCCS, Colorado Springs. I did my undergrad. Mm-hmm. Then I went to do my Doctor of Chiropractic program in Davenport, Iowa, the best city ever.
Why Iowa?
Child. Well, when I was looking at, first of all, like chiropractic school, a lot of healthcare, like professional schools are super expensive. Grad school, and honestly, school is expensive in our country anyway. So one thing was like, that was like actually the first chiropractic school that was made. It was like made in like the 1897. Another reason too is like cost of living there. Like I was paying less than $700 for a one bed. I will never see those prices again. So it was just kind of like, okay, if we're in grad school, we're taking loans or whatever, like let me just make it cheap. And and Iowa was such an interesting experience. I feel like it was living in a place where there's, I don't know. I was just like, I will never go back. Like, I will never, like, live there ever again. But it was like, I guess, like, going from, like, a place where, like, there's, like, life and stuff to going into a place where there's, like, not much that you're used to. And you're, like, with classmates that are, like, super small town minded, first of all, sometimes. It changes you. It's more of, like, it just wakes you up to, like, realize, like, oh, okay, there's so much more in this world. Like, yeah. I forgot where I was going with that.
No. I feel you though. Yeah. But that's what I was just curious, like why, why Iowa? Because like
low cost of living. School was a good school, great school, whatever, and that was it. That was really the main reason.
Because it's not really a place for our people.
I was gonna say. So it was funny, and like on my area there were some of us, like some people of color, but not. Yeah, it wasn't that. It wasn't many in. I wasn't by cornfields. Like I was next to like a Costco, Target. Like I had some things, we had our ones and twos. There was one gay bar down in our downtown, and
about 5 people there.
Yeah, and you already know. So yeah, it was a time.
5 people there, and it's like they're all bottom.
Yeah,
not to
right,
because like I know. Look, I'm not gonna.
Right.
Again, I don't want to defame my people, but like I know how we are.
Yes. So, yeah.
So then what prompted the move to Florida?
Ooh, okay. So I was originally planning to go practice in California. Like I was like, okay, like my brother lives in LA. He's an actor, stand-up comedian. And I was always like, I feel like in high school I was always like, oh yeah, LA definitely seems like the glitz and glamour, like LA, California, it's warm. And I visited multiple times, and it's still cool. But I visited Miami so I actually moved out to Miami with a friend who's also a chiropractor, but she left Miami. But like we went to go visit Miami once when we were in grad school, and it was just like something about the energy here, like South Florida, Miami. I was like, ooh, this is kind of cool. Like, and it's funny. Like I don't really speak my native languages very well. I speak Spanish like bomb. I've always loved speaking Spanish. Like since I was like in middle school, high school, like I would take Spanish classes like seriously. And undergrad, I didn't take any Spanish classes. I just had some friends that were from Spain, and I learned a lot of Spanish from YouTube, honestly. So I think it's just like the universe is like kind of called me here for a second, at least for a chapter of my life. Like let me go explore what the heck this means. So yeah. So I'm a very,
It's very like a spiritual.
yes.
The vibe is just right, so you like made the move.
Yeah, I was like, I'm here now. I definitely want to become like international at some point very soon. Like, those are later plans.
Okay.
Like, I'll just sprinkle that little dust there. But yeah, so Miami's a good jump off for that, I think.
And then I guess career-wise, you were working like within an actual like chiropractic.
Yeah, I was working at a chiropractic practice in Miami, like basically part-time, and like I was starting my mobile chiropractic business, but then now I just recently decided to like go full into my own business and be able to like fully promote myself. So I've just really recently, within a couple of weeks ago, like started that journey. Yeah.
How has it been? Because there's an ongoing discussion about the treatment of people of color within the healthcare system. I could say people of color and women within healthcare. I think there are, straight up, there are a lot of issues with the way that healthcare is both taught and practiced across the board, both with primary care, with specialists, and in hospitals, with doctors, with nurses, even with admin. We do not have the best healthcare system in this country. Straight up. Period. Understand.
Exclamation mark.
But it's like, I think it took me a while to really understand like the distrust that other people had in doctors, because I'm growing up with a doctor as a mother, and I'm growing up thinking and being taught that science more or less kind of like tells you everything, that you want to be able to like fact check things, and I always look for like research and like empirical evidence that like something is what it is. And like my mom, I would even argue that I was like under medicated like as a child. Like she really did her best to not throw everything at me, like, or not like try to overtreat an issue, because I had like a decent number of like health issues when I was growing up. Not crazy stuff, but like my asthma has been ongoing. It's not going anywhere either. My mental health was definitely an issue,
which is something we don't talk about in regular healthcare either.
And I think with my mom being a pediatrician, I'm like, I feel like there's so many things you can catch when a child is young, that like if you can just address it then and just take care of it. And I know like a lot of parents maybe have like hesitation, like they don't want to think or feel that like their child is like broken, or that they've passed something on to their kid, that, or like their kid like is like struggling. But like realistically, kids are going to struggle with things anyways. If you can give them like a little bit of support like when they're younger, just do it, because it makes like a huge difference like down the line. You can really like skip over like so much other bullshit, and they can be like perfectly like fine and happy and healthy adults.
100% agree.
But then like, so that's my perspective is just that like a doctor can be trusted, that like if I'm having a health problem, I can go to my mom and I can list out and say, hey, here's exactly like what I'm dealing with, what do you think? And it's a discussion. But I know that people don't get that normally when you're going to the doctor.
Well, here's the problem. So a lot of our healthcare systems, whether it's hospitals, small practices, a lot of these times the providers, like, so not even just like chiropractors, like physician assistants, MDs, DOs, especially if they're like in an insurance-based clinic or hospital or whatever, they're on a time clock to get and see a lot of people, just because insurance companies kind of suck. Sorry. I mean, people know it. So reimbursement rates are really low. So like they have to like see a lot of different people, and like they're probably a lot of, somebody was telling me recently, like physicians, like the burnout rate is like 50% or more now, because it's just like they have to just run through people. And I feel like that's where people are like getting like that like notion, like, my doctor doesn't listen to me, like they're not listening to me, like I'm not really getting seen for they're just slapping a quick band-aid on my problem, like, oh, I'm coming in for this, like, oh, here's a quick pill, bye, and moving on. And it's like, I guess part of me, like, I see it and I understand, I'm not like justifying it, but I'm like, okay, I understand, like these providers are definitely in this model where they're just run through the mill, like go through the patients. I mean, healthcare in America has really just become about money, to be quite honest.
Well, because you need money to live.
Right. And it's like, I mean, inflation, like everybody's, So I guess that was like one of my goals too. Like, one thing I like about my profession, if it's used rightly, like, rightly, is that a word?
I think you're good.
I know, right?
Inventing new words.
Yeah.
That's very Gen Z.
You know, very Gen Z. I think, so being able to practice the way I want, where I can actually like meet my patients, like talk to them, take my time and figure out what their issue is. If I need to refer them to another provider, 100% will. I think just having, a mobile practice is kind of like, I can like slow down, come to you or come to your business or whatever, and like take my time with each person and be like, okay, this is what's going on, or like, we might need to look at this further. Like, let me refer you to somebody else that I know. I think it's just like a lot of, it's going to take time, but I think a lot of these like healthcare systems are going to switch to more of like, somehow something needs to change, either if it's insurance, like stops being jerks to everybody, or people are just going to like switch to these models where they're like, okay, I can slow down with people and take my time and like treat them properly. I think that's what's happening in our country. Just a lot of like mills in healthcare. Just, okay, get through the patients. You go to the ER, urgent care, get through them and move on. Doesn't matter. Like, so.
It's crazy because like that critique of like providers not getting paid enough and not being able to actually like spend time with their patients is one of the critiques that people have about socialized healthcare as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm just kind of like, what is like, what's the
solution?
Yeah, like where do we go from here?
That is I don't know, because socialized healthcare would basically be like all the doctors get paid exactly the same, or like, because I feel like I've heard
it's like basically, from what I understand, like the government is setting like, you know, this is exactly like how much you get reimbursed. I think it still varies, and like some like you as a provider, like you can still decide whether or not you're going to take private insurance, because the private insurance companies still exist even in countries that have socialized medicine. But like the biggest issue that I guess people run into is that the wait times can be very long for treatment, simply because everybody's more or less using the exact same system, and there's no variation in that.
Yeah, it's like, it's tough. I feel like there's a lot of cracks in the system that need to be fixed. That will take a long time. First of all, the admissions process, like to graduate programs, like, chiropractic school is easier to get into, but you still have to pay some money to like do things. But like, I know like my friends that went to medical school, like how much money they had to spend to even take the MCAT, or people taking the GRE, or like, but like they want you to have all these volunteer hours, but some people can't even afford college, so they're working through college. So it's like, how are they getting the same opportunity? So there's less doctors, especially less doctors from like our communities. There's a lot of things that need to be fixed, and I don't know when that's gonna happen. I don't know if anytime soon.
It's gonna be very slow, but like I think the critiques are there now.
Yes.
That like I think it's heading in the right direction, and like even talking with my brother about his experiences and knowing the things that he wants to pursue, like I think we're getting there. But I also think that like it's gonna vary depending on like what type of medicine you're in, how specific it gets, and then again whether you're a private practice or whether you're like working at a hospital or something, like whether you got like a mobile like situation. Like this actually, I don't want to say this is very modern, because it feels like, you know, like they say that like history
repeats itself.
That I said that as if it was like something profound.
I feel like back in the day that's what doctors used to do, right? They just come to your house. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of made a small comeback. Like, there's like the IV hydration places that go to people's places now. Like, it's kind of slowly making a comeback. So that's why I was like, let me just jump on the train. And also, I just feel like there's, I don't know, just being a different experience. You know?
Absolutely, yeah. But I think like, and one of the other things that I think I benefited from with like growing up with my mom as a doctor is that I feel like I have a lot more agency when I go to the doctor. So even with getting onto Zoloft, I met with I did not know the psychiatrist at all. She was a recommendation from somebody else. Like the practice was recommended, but that particular psychiatrist, I was like, I know nothing about her. But I was very aggressive about like making sure that like if she's not going to ask me like the right questions before she puts me on this medication, it's going to be a no for me.
Wow. Yeah. So you kind of became an advocate for your own health.
Exactly. Because we should be.
Yeah.
Because we should be. You should be able to like know and understand like whatever like health conditions that you're dealing with. Like you should be able to ask your doctor questions. And like I was with her, I was like, I want to go so slow on this medication and so slow on upping my dose, because first of all, I have a life to live,
Yeah.
And then second of all, I don't want to be over medicated to the point where I'm just like placid.
Right.
Like it's supposed to make my life better. It's not supposed to like incapacitate me.
Exactly.
You know.
I think that's a good point that you bring up. Like, something I guess like a recommendation. If you're ever going to like a healthcare provider, like if you do have a friend that's in healthcare that could be on the phone with you at least if you have questions, that's actually super helpful to like have them around so they can like listen. But okay, I understand what they're saying. I can translate a little bit because sometimes we've gone to like those providers like you don't know them and they're just like not really giving you what you need. So you're just like, hold up, and be an advocate for your own health for sure. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you own your health, you own your body, so like why you should, fight for it. And don't be afraid to speak up. Like if you're like, oh okay, like I don't know what this is, like can you explain this procedure? Can you explain what this is? Like more, and also your provider should be explaining it to you at the same time.
Actually, I ran into that when I had like a really weird asthma flare up when I was in grad school, and the doctor that I was seeing at that time, it was with the university. She prescribed me an allergy medication to just kind of suppress the immune response so that I could like actually, get through my day. And I think I was on it for like a couple of months. And then I think at some point I described it as a steroid. And she was like, oh, no, it's an allergy medication. And I'm like, what's... I mean, aren't those the same thing? Like, and it's just like... I don't know, like that thing, it did not sit right with me. And she was very like fresh out of school, and like I don't want to say her bedside manners were like bad, but they weren't great. Yeah. So it was just kind of like
what's going on?
Yeah. But it's a moment like that where, thank God, like I happened to have the knowledge to understand, what those words mean. Yeah. And I mostly just got that from watching Discovery Health as a kid. And just like binge watching it like during the day before Oprah bought the channel and Discovery Health was gone. Yeah. But not everybody has that experience. Right. Not everybody has, the access to that. Not everybody has that privilege.
Yeah. It's like when you bring that up, it's like a good point because it's like a lot of people. I mean, that can happen in any field. Like, say if I wanted to go to a lawyer for something, I don't know what they're talking about, or it's tough. Like I feel like. If there was a platform like where, I've talked to recently, I met a person who's like, he's a nurse practitioner. He's going into psychiatry. So I was like, and he's queer. So I'm like, there needs to be, I guess like in certain aspects, like if there was like a provider network where people can like see providers, like see like who they are and like know that they would be safe going to them would actually help out a lot of those things. And we talked about that too, like making that kind of happen. Yeah.
I would love that. Yeah, I would really love that.
Like a little like queer like healthcare provider, like, oh, here's a nurse practitioner that does psychiatry, here's a chiropractor, oh, here's a whatever, surgeon for something. That needs to be made too. And just like people of color, like like people that deal with women's health, like those are all good things that would help, I guess, make these processes easier with these new providers.
I think I actually know a group that might be able to help you with that.
Yeah, definitely connect.
Yes, I will link you guys because they focus a lot on trans issues. It's actually transsocial. They focus a lot on trans issues, obviously, but like I think it would be interesting for them to have like just a list of like especially trans friendly like healthcare providers who are going to help you with any sort of gender affirming care. But then on top of it, just people who. I don't know, just like people who are going to be nice to other queer people.
And treat them like a normal person, because that's what we all are.
And again, focusing on like the full body, like health. Like it's not just going to the doctor for physicals. It's going to the chiropractor to make sure that everything's in alignment. It's going and getting a massage to make sure that things aren't tight. It's having access to like a personal trainer, a nutritionist, like people who are going to help you like paint that whole picture. Yeah. Because we deserve that.
We deserve it. We super deserve it. And I mean, I definitely look at health like very holistically, like yes, like medication when needed, like exercise, nutrition, to everybody's best ability. Obviously, I'm not being ableist, you know what I mean? So yeah. Okay, we're gonna have to connect on this because I like that's something like I've been thinking about. Like there needs to be like a network for this. But yeah, so yeah,
it's that kind of that can get us into this conversation about body. So I guess to give context to this episode, you're gonna give me a soft tissue treatment.
So my treatment. So, as a chiropractor, you can treat people in multiple ways, not just an adjustment. So adjusting, when we do adjustments, all we're doing is adding motion to restricted joints, which helps relieve pain, reduce a little bit of inflammation. So you get the confidence to move again. So say like, oh my gosh, I've been having trouble running, or every time I bend down, like it hurts, which like these are like all essential things to life. So like, that's basically what we do with the adjusting. Soft tissue work, obviously treating the muscles and ligaments around the joint is very helpful.
Yes.
Also with certain exercises, like depending on somebody's condition, I will help prescribe them exercises, like in a basic sense, more of a rehabilitative sense, not like, oh, I'm personal training you. It's not like that. So depending on what you have going on today, I might do a combination of treatment. But also if people are never like, so obviously there's like some people out there that are like scared of adjustments. If you're scared of an adjustment, it's fine. I don't force anybody to do what they don't want to do, because nobody should. So like, okay, we can just do soft tissue and exercise, like, you know. So depending on what you need.
Yeah, I'm probably fucked up.
Well, listen.
To be quite honest.
Okay. Like, I'm here to listen. I'm here to figure it out, see what's going on. So.
Wow. Okay, that was so validating.
Mike the Miami Chiro. Oh. No, just kidding.
I love it. Very suave. I love it.
Trying to be.
So I very recently started like getting back into a fitness routine. I was a runner. I like running, and I like weightlifting. I encourage everybody to
Please weightlift. It's really good. You're gonna be happy when you're like 60 years old and you're like able to move. Exactly. It feels it's very empowering. Yes.
I feel like, especially like as a woman, as like a very like feminine presenting woman, it's nice to know that like I can pick up a bitch if I need to.
Yeah, and you're not gonna get bulky. It's actually really good for your joints and your bones to lift. So yeah.
So I was it's been like on and off for, I don't know, probably like the last like 6 or 7 years. Nice. So I finally, very recently, I got back into working out at home, and then in January I started going to the gym again, which was like a huge step for me. But I was just like, in order for me to like properly like weightlift the way that I want to and bodybuild the way that I want to, like I just needed machines, and I needed stuff like that. So I guess like for your context, my current workout routine, I do 6 days a week.
Yeah, you're better than me. You're better than me, child.
I don't know, but I've only been doing it again like since January. I've had this routine. Like it's, I hope I don't quit. But so Sundays I do either like a 5 to 10 mile run. I'm currently working up to doing a half marathon.
Oh, she's working.
But the furthest I've gone is like 8 miles. So that's why I say I'm fucked up, because I know like long distance runners probably are what keeps your lights on at this point.
I mean, they usually tend to have a lot of similar issues, like knee.
Yeah. Which, okay, I would love to jump into like the myths about like running and how it's like bad for your knees when it's like, in reality, you're probably doing something wrong.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot of different myths. Like, so I'm a person that I always just promote movement. Like, people are like, oh, like, you know, like if you're a little bit injured, like stop moving. Like, no, keep moving your body to some extent. Mm-hmm. Running and knee pain, like it might happen. It might be due to form. It could be due to your shoes. It could be. The one thing I notice that when people get injured more often is because they're not cross training. Like, for example, you're running and you're lifting. That's really good, actually. I think there were some studies talking about like, I guess it was mostly with high school athletes. They noticed the ones that like would do different sports, like train differently, would have way less injuries than people that stuck to one. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you think about it, if you're doing the exact same motion all day and every day, not doing anything different, you're gonna wear out that side of your body. Versus like, okay, I'm training this way today. The other day I'm training in a different aspect. Like you're strengthening your body from multiple different aspects. So, sorry, I feel like I keep going on tangents.
No, I'm just sitting here thinking like, damn, I can't wait for you to find your person, because like, wow. Can you because wow. Imagine coming home to this beautiful, educated man. Like that's all I'm saying.
I really appreciate you saying that, because I go through imposter syndrome all the time, and it's like it's a B word.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, we're allowed to cuss on here. But yeah. But it's yeah, and sometimes like, especially like, I mean, in my program there wasn't many black people of color. Like there was a handful of us. Like we'd be like, oh, okay, we see us all in a picture, like you know what I mean? So like I feel like just those types of things, like you get that imposter syndrome, or like, you know, being out in the world, being a fresh graduate, like, you know. But I do know more than, listen, I'm talking to all the people out there that graduated from whatever, or you are worthy, you know a lot more than you think. So I had to tell myself that all the time.
No,
so.
and I run into that too, and I see my coworkers and I'm like, no, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Because like our perception of ourselves is always going to be like the harshest and like the most critical. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. As we should be, but like be fair to yourself and be kind to yourself. Because like you're not, even if you really do feel like an imposter and you really do feel like you need to improve in different ways, hating yourself into that is never going to work.
No.
You need to love yourself into self-improvement. You need to love yourself into recognizing that like you have self-worth and like you're worthy of knowing more and you're worthy of being more talented. You're worthy of growing.
Mic drop. That was a mic drop right there. Love it. Yeah, no, it's true. It's so true. So thank you for the kind words. I actually really appreciate it. Yeah.
I was like your whole time talking, I'm like, wow. Like, keep going.
Cool. Okay, cool. I'm glad I'm making sense. So that's actually leads into a question, because people usually ask you, like, you know, like my body cracks, is that bad? If there's cracking and there's no pain, it's totally fine. So like when something's cracking, what's really happening is air is releasing from a joint. So even the same when I adjust you, air is releasing from a joint. Nothing crazy. If there's pain with it, then there's something to look into more of. But usually, I mean, with time, obviously with our sports, our activities, like certain parts of our bodies just might undergo different stresses, and those joints just might be shaped a little bit differently than others. So then that's why, like my knees are like popcorn.
If I'm standing like for a decent amount of time, everything cracks.
Yes. Yeah. How's your stretching routine? So there we go. No, just kidding. Mine's yeah.
It's gotten better recently.
We like better. We love improvement. See, I feel like I also just try to encourage people. Like I feel like just start small with steps. Like start super small. Like okay, even if you're stretching or I'm gonna exercise once this week. Okay, that's more than what you used to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think everything should just be like progression.
Yeah. I do make sure I'm really big on my warm-ups. Like I'm a huge proponent of like I don't like to stretch cold muscles.
Good.
That's just me. I know a lot of people say like before a run like you should stretch, but again, I'm just so nervous about potentially like pulling something before I even get out there. Then I'm like, okay, like should I really do that?
If anything, I guess doing a dynamic stretch, like don't do like the static stretching, like I'm just gonna, like if you're doing like skips, you're doing like lunges, like things that are a little bit more active stretching is fine before like you do those activities. That's actually good to do. Like static stretching is like when people actually like lose power and stuff. So afterwards you can do like the static stretching.
Okay, thank you. That clarifies a lot.
Of course. Yes.
I mean, I think a lot of my issues are definitely like lower body, and I think it really does come because like the running and my horseback riding, like those are my heavy like loaded activities. I do the Apple Watch. It tells me to stand. I make sure I get my stand hours in. I make sure that I get my move in when I can. And then the weightlifting only twice a week, and then I do soccer as well.
No, you're doing good. Like you're doing super good. Like like I said before, training in different ways is like, one, it's more fun. Like it's boring to train like doing the same thing. Two, it's better for your body to just train it in different aspects like that. So soccer. Yeah. So your resume is just, you're talking about me hyping me up. I'm like, your resume is like
that's just like I don't do any, jack of all trades, master of none.
Child, please. And you're out here cute with the hair. Listen.
Stop. Don't hype me up. I'm trying to keep this ego in check.
Oh man, yes, but you deserve the hype. So
all right, you want to hop into this so you can tell people how terrible my flexibility.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, so what we're gonna do first is okay, let me grab my stuff. Can I just put this down?
Yes. Okay. So I guess what's like your typical, like what does a typical like appointment go like?
So usually your first appointment's gonna be maybe closer to an hour. I come in, I say hi. Oh, wait. I do an exam. So I just do a physical exam, like do a movement exam, see where your problem area is. We talk about your medical history, and then we treat. So then your follow-up treatments are usually like 30-minute appointments where I come in. It's mostly just treating, seeing how you're doing with your progress, and going from there. And like I said, I can meet you houses. If you're a business and you have like employees, I can come and stay for a couple hours. If you're sitting by your pool and it's not too hot outside, bitch, I will come to the pool, slide in, boom, 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 and get. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm just making it a really dynamic, fun practice. So yes.
Oh my God, are you gonna take my blood pressure?
Yes. I know you're probably stressed right now, but
No.
yeah. Usually this is what I start with the appointment with, like vital stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Here. Yes. So we're just waiting right now. Hi, camera.
My blood pressure is about to be bussin'.
Mine, it depends on the day. I don't know. Yeah, good.
Oh, okay.
102/58. Yes. Yes. 6 days a week is working out for you, baby.
Wait, so is that like...
That's good.
Like, what does that mean?
So a normal blood pressure is usually they say 120/80. Right now you're at 102/58, which is pretty good. Like, so it's a little bit lower than
I have
normal.
not eaten today, so that...
It could be a thing, yeah. So next, what I'm gonna do with Taylor is do a little bit of like muscle testing. So my exam is a little bit of a neurological and orthopedic examination.
I hope I pass.
So I'm gonna have you like this.
Oh. Like,
okay. I'm gonna pull this way. Don't let me pull. Good. Push against me. Nice. Have your arms up like this. I'm gonna push down. Don't let me push. Beautiful. Open your fingers. Don't let me close them. Boop, 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 boop. Easy. Okay.
Flying colors.
Yes. I mean, I've done this once or twice, so I know how to. Yeah, you have really good range of motion there.
Once we get to lower body.
That's when it starts kind of. Okay. What if... Okay, so I'm going to bring the table over.
Okay.
All right, so let's see here. All right.
You're getting these feet pics for free.
All right. Nice. How was that for you?
I was not expecting that.
Sorry, yeah, I gotta go quick. Right. But it's moving a little bit better. Different, right?
I've never had a chiropractic trick in my life.
Boom.
This is like just like the memes.
Hopefully I make this a more fun experience. But yeah, hopefully it's not as like, I'm not throwing your neck that way.
No.
Wow. You said you had an injury, or did you?
Never an injury. I just know, like, I just kind of sit, like, crooked.
Gotcha.
I noticed it when I ride, and I noticed it, like driving, because I'm using my right leg to, like hit the gas and the brake. Like, it definitely, like, I can notice it in other areas of my life.
Gotcha. Well, another thing, too, sometimes tightness can show a little bit of, I don't like to say the word weakness, but like one muscle's not getting activated as much. Yeah. So sometimes when that happens, you can feel more tightness on one side. So it could be possible that this side's just not getting activated as much. Boom, boom. And I guess after doing this for a while, you kind of notice like the common things, like where people will have issues. I haven't worked with a horseback rider before, so you're giving me some experience right now. So now I know, like, okay. I recently worked with like roller derby teams, so like kind of learning what their injuries tend to be. All right, so next what I'm gonna do here, so I'm just gonna be evaluating your mid-back. So I'm just gonna see how the joints are moving. When they're a little bit restricted, it just lets me know where you need an adjustment. And then with the adjustment, obviously I'm just adding a little bit of motion into those joints, and I'll be nice and gentle. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit of one here. So what I'm gonna have you do is take a big breath in and out and slightly look up in front of you, and I'm gonna apply a little pressure there, okay? Nice. How was that for you?
I don't know what about it. It's just so weird. I'm like, I feel like those things are not supposed to move like that.
It's like, oh shit.
I don't know. It's like it's like I'm expecting it, but then something about it is just like,
It's
what?
different. Yeah, it's always people's first times usually getting adjusted, they're just like, wow, this is so weird.
Yeah. Oh, it's just so odd.
Let me know if I ever have too much pressure.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
Do you ever get headaches at all?
I get migraines,
Okay.
but I think that's just me getting migraines.
Gotcha. I only ask just because sometimes tight musculature in your neck and your upper back can cause the headaches too. So, all right. So I'm going to start with one here on this side. So all I'm going to be doing is just slightly bending your neck and just applying a little pressure there, okay? Go ahead and wiggle your toes for me. Ooh.
If the microphone didn't pick that up.
Okay. How was that? Different, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And usually, like, I usually do a lot of, like, soft tissue work before the appointment and everything, too.
Yeah.
I know just for the video, we kind of, like, summarize it a little bit. Take your time, and I'll help you up here.
Thank you.
Go ahead, kind of, like, stand up, walk around, see how you feel.
I feel taller.
Yeah, like, you feel, like, more like, okay, I'm upright.
I think I'm finally 5'6". I think I got it.
There we go. We're reaching it, baby. Let's go get that. Go to the DMV, get that remeasure.
All right, another couple more sessions, and eventually I'll hit 6 foot.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Wow. Oh, the neck definitely.
It was deep down there.
Yeah. I'm a little dizzy from that.
Yeah, take your time. Dad, go ahead and sit down. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. That was exciting.
Cool.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Okay. Well, now that I'm sufficiently cracked.
Crack is whack unless it's from me. So.
I just got cracked like an egg. Wow. That was. Wow. I've just learned so much about myself. This is wild.
Yeah. And I mean, now you kind of know some of the areas you feel tight with.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can give you some like hip stuff to do at the
Absolutely.
gym and stuff,
Yes,
just to kind
yes.
of work on that. But you're doing all the right things. I think it's just like we're never like our bodies are never going to be like perfectly together.
course,
So it's just more of like, okay, let me just target these a little bit more and get it to where it needs to be.
Oh, thank you so much. I
Of
really
course.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
I literally have my next interview coming in 2 minutes.
Oh.
But I think you'll love her. I think like
Perfect.
I'm hoping that like you guys can kind of like get with each
Yes.
other. Maybe she can begin like referring some people to you.
Exactly.
Like that would
Vice
be really
versa.
beautiful.
Yeah.
She is up in West Palm, but again, it's kind of like.
Yeah, you know, people travel throughout. Yeah. Cool.
So Mike, where can people follow you?
On Instagram, you can follow me at Mike the Miami Chiro, or my business page is Chiros In Motion. Chiros In Motion. And I should have a website hopefully very, very soon.
Okay, make sure you send me all of that.
Yes.
And I'll make sure everything will be linked in the show notes. Everything will be linked on Instagram. Wait, which account do you prefer?
I guess, I don't know, Chiros In Motion, I think. Yeah, just the business page, build that one up. Yeah. So, yeah.
Awesome. As always, thank you guys for watching. You can follow me at bottumsuppod on Instagram. That is BOTTUMSUP.POD. If you want to come on for an interview, or if you want to reach out about a potential topic, or you know somebody who might want to do an interview, feel free to either DM me or send me an email, bottumsuppod@gmail.com. Thanks again for watching. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the love. And I will see you guys in the next episode.
Thank you.
Now. All right. Bye.
Bye.